Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's about 1 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon here we're inside of Grand Teton National Park. And what I'm showing you right here that's Mount Moran. This is probably one of the most famous turnouts in Grand Teton National Park. This is the Oxbow Bend. This is the Snake River right here. And this bend that goes around to the right, or to the left, sorry, is Oxbow Bend of the Snake River, and so or the Oxbow. But this is the fact that I'm the only one in this turnout is ridiculous. You can only do this in the dead of winter. Normally, there's 100 people here fighting for this spot right here. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did yesterday. I'm gonna go ahead and turn you around and show you this proper, and then we'll continue on. All right, here's what it looks like. I'm gonna zoom in on Mount Moran. These mountains are elusive this time of year. Like to keep their tops covered, but it's pretty frozen over right now. But this is the Oxbow Bend right there. So if I zoom out a little bit, show you the mountain range continues on, but the Grand Tetons pretty much end with Mount Moran and they go north. The video I showed you yesterday was way up there, probably 10 miles north. And so you'll head from here, you go to the Grand Teton, a Little Teton up north. So I can just show you kind of the rest of the river. This is all river. It's all frozen in right now. All right, that's kind of enough for today. This is the plaque showing you the Indian part of the history of this spot. I just had somebody pull up, so I'm going to turn you around. We'll keep going. All right, guys. Second part of the video. That's still Mount Moran. We were about 7 miles that way, but it was too popular. It was people coming around, and that was a place where we've had 2 male grizzlies come out of their hibernation, and they've been walking around. That site I was standing on was where they've seen them the most, so no need to be standing there too much. There's lots of ways to see grizzly, but having one walk out of the woods while you're making a video isn't one of them. So anyway, I decided to bring back down here. I'm gonna do the same thing I did yesterday. I'm gonna turn the camera around and show you kind of the vista up here, up and down the range real quick. It's another nice day out here. In fact, today's high temperature of the year, we're about 47 or 48 degrees right now. So that's, for 2024, that's a new high. Now here's a slightly different angle. So there's Mount Moran again. The video started way down there, about 6-7 miles. We came around the corner. So there's Mount Moran. So this is another lookout. There's the Grand. There's the Grand Teton, and there's the Little Teton. On down the Teton Range. Just a little bit different perspective than this morning, and a little bit different perspective from yesterday, but not much. But just another nice day out here. So it seems like a good place to tell you a moose story, a dumb Dave smart moose story. So I mean way back, I mean like probably 1989. You know, my wife had come down from Alaska, and we'd gotten married, and we wanted to move her car from Maryland to Seattle, where we were living. And so we bought a one-way ticket and we flew to DC, and we drove her car across the United States. And not when we got to here, we were just zooming. I think we took like 5 days to do the whole country, but you know, back then we were like 26-year-old kids who had no money, so we were staying in the cheapest places, and we wanted to minimize it, and we had to get back to work. So I've got you on this stand as high as it'll go. These are the same tripods I send all you guys, but the wind's making you rock around a little bit. I don't think there's much I can do about it. Maybe if I lean you against the car a little more. We'll see how that works. So we've gotten to a little village called East Yellowstone. It's actually not too far from here. It's at the boundary of Yellowstone Park, and they have these beautiful little cabins way up on top of this scree loose rock embankment. And it's about maybe 100 feet up above the river. And so we spent one night in these little cabins, And after dinner, we wanted to go for a walk, so we ended up walking down and along the river, and we came across a lone bull moose. And at that time, I didn't know anything about moose, and so one thing we didn't realize is they definitely have a boundary, and the boundary, I didn't know where it was, and so we were walking up on it. He was still a couple hundred yards away, but eventually we got about 100 yards from him. My wife said, "Hey, that's enough. That's close enough for me. I'm going to go ahead and take you. I'm going to head up the scree." And that's why I'm going to get a little closer. So I walked up, and there was a log laying up against the bank, and I jumped over it, and that was his boundary. As soon as I jumped over it, he snorted and pawed at the rocks and came at me hard. And my wife was kind of screaming at me from the top of the scree hill, like, "You better run." I gave it everything I had, but so did he. And I was scrambling up the scree slope, and she was screaming at me. And he came and he hit that thing with his antlers, and he missed me by about a foot, because he had about a 10-foot set of antlers, and I'd gotten about 12 feet up the bank by then, and he hit it like he intended to kill me. So I escaped it. That's one of I've got a couple of moose stories. I've got 3 actually, so we'll dole them out day by day here. But there's wasn't my first escape with death, but it was the first one my wife watched from only a few feet away. So that's the one she brings up now and then. So, but I've got a couple others too that she still laughs about. But so there you go. There's my first moose story for you guys. So it's probably a pretty inappropriate place to do my March smoking log, but I did it. I actually brought it with me. You can see the paper won't stand out because of the wind, but here it is. I'll show you a little bit better. Maybe I'll show it to you when I get down to the lounge a little bit. But what this thing says is, I did a little bit better last month. I did 95 bowls, but I only did 13 blends, and I did 18 cigars, but I did 13 different kinds. So I didn't do so well on cigars, but it's funny because the fireside chats really bumped up my cigars, because I went from, so here's my year in review. January, I did 63 bowls. February, I did 79 bowls. And in March, I did 95 bowls. So that's a total of 273 bowls this year. In January, I smoked 19 blends. In February, I smoked 24 blends. And in March, I only smoked 13. So I'm actually starting to get my act together. So I've smoked a total of 30 different blends in 2024. And then sticks, I did 9 cigars in January, 3 cigars in February, and 18 cigars in March. And I'm pretty sure that's due to the, fireside chats that we've been doing. So, yeah, I guess that's it. 237 bowls this year, 30 different blends, 30 different sticks, 16 different kinds of sticks. That's pretty fun. It's a pain in the ass to keep track of that, I have to admit, but it's nice. It'll be easier to do a year in summary for you if I keep it up every month. So that's where we are for now. All right, guys, that's it. We will talk to you in a little bit. Bye.